Well, finally he's here, man. And I told you that this man, I really, back in the day when we were growing up, there was a movie called A Man to Respect. I love that movie because when I think about that movie now, I think of this man. He's a great man, a very unassuming man, but very dynamic, and one of the people who have captivated me and inspired me all my life. Put your hands together. Let's welcome Kofi Amoabeng. All right. Well, thank you. Make no mistake, when I say inspired all my life, you were thinking of some grown man. We are practically peers, man, so... Kofi, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Kweku.
Welcome to the show, man. You've been on the KSM show. No, you've been on the TGIF. This is the KSM show.
You've done well.
Thank you. And
it's an improvement.
It has an improvement,
yeah.
and we can't have an improvement without you in the house, man. But this improvement was not in less than 48 hours, yo.
48 months.
It's 48 months. But how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Personally, I'm doing very good. But I have issues too.
Yeah. I've read issues in the papers.
Yeah, but it's okay. I can contain it, so I'm fine.
Yeah. Is it... Really, do I hear that something gives you sleepless nights? Does this one give you any? Partially.
There are two aspects to it. The part that concerns Prince Kofi Amoabeng, I don't care much about. But the part that concerns UT Holdings, UT Bank, that is the company's name. That is not the best because we get a lot of bad publicity. And there are a lot of questions bordering on reputation and things like that of the company. Because as for Prince Kofi Amoabeng, I came from Okurantumi with no reputation. And I can go back with no reputation. But I think for the workers, all the good people who have created the brand, it's a bit of bad taste.
Well, those of you who don't know what we're talking about, is this prolonged court case that we can't really comment about?
Well, we can't comment about it. What I want to say is that people think that you can achieve so much without being tested. And I think if you are religious, you believe that when God raises you, He will test you to see if your feet are still on the ground. So the good thing is that I don't mean to fail our God. I'll stay firm and follow my religion. So it's okay, but I know how to take it.
So you passed the test?
I certainly will pass the test, and I'm still praying that I pass the test. And so far, so good. I'm in court, and I go, and the armed robbers around me, and after them, I go into the dock and things like that, which is quite an experience. And the courtrooms are not the best, but you have to cope with it, and that is the system we have, or the system we've brought down, and therefore we all have to pay the price for it. But it's okay. We want justice. As much as people don't believe in it, that's what we have. So we have to go through it.
All right. And you're going to prevail?
Oh, definitely. I think it's quite clear. So
show us the love, man. Show us the love. But one of the things I've always admired about you is that there's a certain uniqueness. I'm not saying this to make your head big or anything, but you have a certain attitude. For example, at your job, you're the CEO, and you have been seen in line with the rest of the staff at the canteen. Is it
I think
personal?
I think one thing that UT is known for is the kind of culture that we have. And culture is basically about respecting everybody. And that starts with us, the staff. And certainly everybody's job matters. So if, as you said, if we go to the cafeteria and I go in late, or I go in at a time when there are about 20 people in front of me, it doesn't matter I'm the CEO and co-founder and all that. I have to be the 21st person and queue and get to your turn and pick up your food and go and sit down and eat. And when you finish, you have to take tissue and clean the table for the next person. And I think it tells its own story. It's not about the CEO is more important than the other person. And when it comes to the ladies, that's where I have a problem. I have to hug almost all the ladies. And if I don't hug them, I have a problem. But I hug all ladies, from whoever to my DMD and things like that. So it's about showing respect across, and all human beings, I think we all have a right to be here. We have to be respected for who we are. People say that, for example, respect is earned. And I say, no, respect is due, everyone. Because if I haven't met you before,
it is due.
If I haven't met you before, how do I earn it? So it's due everyone. And at UT, we try to practice it, and it has to come from me. So we live like a family, and we respect each other, and we respect the clients that come through our doors.
So I would say, well, even in the family, we have the elders. You know, your father is there, your grandfather. So when it's time to eat, the father will go and get, and then...
I know what you're talking about. Where, like when I was a kid, there will be one fowl will be slaughtered, and there's soup for everybody, and the waste, the thighs, everything will go to my father. And I think one time I asked my father, I asked my mother, I said, why do you give all the meat to the old man? Because that time I was doing general science in school. I said, we need the meat to grow. So, and this man, he eats the meat to waste it. And my mother looked at me and said, if the one who bought it is not satisfied, he won't buy for you to take the small one you're taking. So I understand where you're coming from. But that is our culture. And I'm not all for our culture when it comes to developing a people. You know, I think most of the problem that we have is because we have this culture of the elder is right, anybody in authority is right, you're supposed to challenge them. And we brought it into governance, and we brought it into corporate institutions, to the point that those at the head or the helm of affairs can take advantage of the people and nobody dares challenge them. You know, and I think you really have to break it down, let them know you are normal, you are there as a leader for all the people. And you're supposed to protect the people's interests, and people should be able to point things to you when you're wrong and take you on. And that's one thing that I like about what we're creating at UT, that people can look at me and say that, Chief, we don't understand this, and we think this is wrong. And we talk about it, and we change the policy. You know, so it is a good thing to practice. I think in the advanced countries, you can't just send a child because it's a child. You can't. If you are not the child's father, even that you have to actually say please and all those things. But here's our collaborator. I mean, really, you abuse them, you disrespect them.
So to what extent do you see some of these cultural norms, traditional beliefs, really impeding our development?
I think in every aspect, it's impeding our development. Because I think the government, if anything, is for the next generation, and it has to work with people who are more or less their subordinates. And if you don't accept openness and criticism of your position, then you're not actually ruling by consensus. It means what you think is what you do. And I don't think wisdom resides in one person's head. And normally, what happens is, even at UT, most of the things that happen don't come from me. It's an open floor. We take suggestions, and I said, maybe what's sitting in this room is that this is the way we want to go. And then if there's popular response to it, then that's what is done. And it will appear as if, I mean, like all the attention I get, Kofi Amoabeng and UT and things like that, but seriously, I did very little.
Really?
Yeah, it's like saying that armed robbers have been arrested at Wa village or Mumpurugu Yoyo, and the IGP's picture is there. He wasn't there.
You know? So you have become the face of it. You become
the face of it. But if you empower the people to actually be ingenious and develop it, of course you ride with the waves.
What has been the most challenging thing that you've confronted in your life that you said, as for this one?
I don't think there's any.
Really?
I take things in my stride. You see, it's a very funny world. We're supposed to be so important, but we're not. And we are easily dispensable. If you think about it, there are 7.2 billion of us, which is more than the number of seconds you will spend in this world. And 1 out of 7.2 billion, really. Even a million or something out of 7.2, it's irrelevant. So I think I take it that you're supposed to do your best under whatever circumstances to impact the world, people's lives. It's not that you are special. God can decide to use you as a vehicle. If he doesn't want you anymore, he can use something else. You don't really matter. 7.2 billion. So when things happen and it's a problem, I just reflect and say, what's the end station? What's the end result? And everything ends with death, really. And you don't even have a say with this. So when it happens, I say, well, does it mean my time is up? Well, it's not up. Maybe I'll waste a bit more time and continue with it. And you move on. If it's even death, and so what? You don't matter. So I don't really stick to things. Say, this one really, really pains me, or to the hardest. No. I don't even keep it.
You move on easily.
I just keep. I keep walking.
You keep walking. So basically, well, it's interesting you saying all of this, and I think you've earned the title of the most respected CEO. Was it 3 times?
Yeah.
3 times?
3 times. It's been organized only 3 times.
We organized 3 times and you swept off. So you had the lifetime was
So far.
so far.
Yeah.
You think this has people are learning new things that are amazing them about life? What is giving you?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because when you look at the hardships in the country and the way people are flooding to the churches and giving of their small savings all to the pastors and all those things, I think people are desperate and they want some divine intervention, which may or may not come. I'm not an expert in those areas, but I think people should examine themselves and decide, what can I do that will benefit society? Not just throw your hands up in the air and go and sit in some church expecting some divine intervention. But I think it's time for desperation. You know, that will take me to, people are complaining a lot about the hardships and things like that in the country. And for me, the issues or the factors did not start with Mahama's regime. It even didn't start with Champon's regime. I think consistently we've been breaking down the systems and the institutions that will guide us. And therefore, the certain area that we have to develop and things that we haven't. So if we're talking about cedi losing its value against the dollar, for example, I said, since when did the cedi do well against the dollar? And because as 30 years ago, the rate of a cedi to the dollar was 2.75 to a dollar. Black market was about 25 cedis to a dollar. From 2.75 cedis to a dollar, 30 years on, it's 26 or 27,000 cedis to a dollar if you take the redenomination. So the cedi has never done well because we haven't put in the structure, the systems that to really ensure proper governance. And I mean a whole lot of things. I always talk about we not even having address systems and all those things. And the government is still trying to put something in place. But it means that we don't know where we live. And when I was coming here, you mentioned a big tree. And for a Chim man to call a neem tree a big tree, I found it very surprising. I almost passed that and said, oh, this can't be a big tree. Because where Kweku comes from, there's Onyina and a doom and things like that.
So you can't call it neem tree.
Yeah, but the direction included a big tree. You know, so we don't know where we live. If the policeman wants to catch you, he must take the key from your ignition, because when you leave, that's all.
He will get you, yeah.
But elsewhere, you go through traffic light or commit an offense, you go home and sleep. 3 days' time, your bill comes and you will pay. That is governance. Then on a wider scale, we have not tackled agric, for example, on a serious scale. So now we're importing everything. You can't change it now. On the educational front, we actually run down our educational system to a point where almost everybody worth anything wants to send their kids outside. So it means the bill, dollar bill for education, you can't imagine. It should run into big money. Because I know some people, civil servants, who have 3, 4 of their kids in universities in the US and things like that. Then you have also the industry, like the telcos, for example. We have about 5 or 6 telephone companies. Not one is Ghanaian. So all these telephone companies must send their monies outside. We bring in Galamsey people, no, we bring in, they come. Chinese, right into our waters and things, they wash and take the gold. They will probably sell it to some institution or some people, take CDs and change the dollars and send it out to where they come from. So we cannot fix it like a matter of 1 year or 2. It's taken us a long time to get here, of destroying the systems and institutions, and to go back takes proper planning to say that this is where we are. What do we do to turn it around? So when I hear all the things about this, that I said, well, I will not complain. I'll just sit here and see, because we give the money to government.
Yeah, you're talking about the chickens have come home to roost. This is the result of several years of negligence.
Then it was coming, obviously. When we're not supporting agric, when we're encouraging imports, and we're not doing a whole lot of things. Because one guy asked me a question, a not very educated person. He said, Kofi, if we had not found the oil, what would have been our position? I said, Master, I beg you. That one, you are taking me too far. Because certainly, now that you have oil revenues coming in, we are in this mess. So without the oil revenues, what would it have been? I said, for that one, I don't know.
So this, from listening to you, all this immediate, now looking almost knee-jerk reactionary measures, would they work? About what the new systems? You are in banking.
Yeah, they'll work for a few months. But if we do not generate the dollars, it will have to go back. And I think the way it's going now, it has kept it a little bit, but people are uncertain. What next? Is it going to be changed? And some aspect of this, I think the governor will have to change it, because if you talk about foreign currency money, which is foreign currency account, which monies you have earned from outside, I personally don't think there should be much restriction on it, because if you put restriction on it, the monies will stay outside and will not come. But that the economy is being dollarized and things, that is worrying, because you go to any serious country, you flash a dollar, nobody wants it.
Yeah.
Go and change it
Yeah.
and come and pay
Yeah.
me my currency. And I think that's what the governor is trying to reverse.
What will be your advice?
We should try and respect our currency and deal in our currency. But of course, having said that, if we do not have faith in it because it's losing value against other currencies, then it's just mere talk. Because you want to even save in a foreign currency when you know that if you can earn 20%, the duration net effect will be that you probably can earn a lot more if you kept in dollar. Every ordinary person will do that math and move the money to dollar.
All right. Just a lot for Kofi, man. Now let's bring in lights, man. Let's see the lightest side of Kofi, man.
That's where it gets dangerous.
It gets dangerous. So Kofi, you are divorced, right? You
Twice divorced.
Oh, twice.
Yeah.
Okay. And you gave up on altogether?
It's like United Nations. After 2 world wars, you try everything to avoid a third.
So it's out now.
Yeah, I don't think it will work.
Yeah. So but you have companions, if I should call it that.
You are not wrong.
I'm not wrong. Close companions.
How close is close?
Reasonably close.
Well, maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
You see, we are trying to educate the youth. If you go that area, you
It
spoil.
won't be educational. It won't be educational. Maybe they can learn a few things from.
You are the host, man.
I'm the host. and the kids there, well, they are now.
Yeah,
basically.
I think my kids are grown. I have a couple of young ones, but most of them are quite old. And we have a very good relationship. I mean, we're quite open about it. They take me on issues. Nothing like the old man is coming home and no, they don't really care about me. I can walk in and walk out. They know my relations, I know their relations, and it's very healthy.
They know who you are dating?
Yeah.
They like them?
You have to like them because I don't complain who you are dating. So,
it's a mutual understanding.
So exactly.
Oh, wow, that's cool. And there was one thing about, have you moved now?
Yeah, I moved. It's good that you should ask because I lived in Tesano for 21 years.
Yeah.
And that's a 2-3 bedroom house in that corner. And I moved a year and a half ago to Roman Ridge. I think as a pensioner, I have to find some more space and relax some more.
But have you retired? You haven't retired.
I haven't retired, but I'm practicing how to retire. You know, the group or the holding company has got a new CEO, very good guy, Mr. Martin Mercer. So he is at the helm of affairs for the whole group. I'm still CEO of the bank for now, but I think that is where I have to step out as soon as the board feels it's appropriate for me to step out. When I step out, then I'll be only president of the UT group, which is really a position as a brand ambassador. So, keep the brand going, keep the values going, keep the culture going, and meet people and things like that. That will mean pension for me because I don't think people will allow me to stay in Kuprantumi. They won't allow me. I have to be Accra most of the time to try and see what we build.
We're going to go to me quite often, huh?
I go to almost every weekend if I can, unlike you.
So, Kofi, your final words. Well, final words sound scary, eh?
Yeah.
That's quite scary. No, I didn't mean it that way. Concluding words for your numerous fans, listeners. Who are fans, though?
Well,
you have become like an icon in this country.
I think my last word or final words, as you said, I think you've done well. I also look at people like you. You were using somebody's facilities. You move, you now have your own facility. You change the name of it to your own name. You're creating something which is you. And that is great. I mean, John also said that he wanted to create something that is him. And I think I will keep it on that level, that people should believe in themselves and create what they think is in them to create, because I don't think any two people are the same. And God created us differently because of what He expects from us. So you have to look inside yourself. It's tough, but look inside yourself and sit and plan and say that I'm different and I'll make a difference, I'll make an impact on people's lives. And that should get us somewhere.
Just a laugh, man. Just a laugh. And my concluding words, Kofi, I've always admired you. And one thing I learned from you that I will never forget is how real you should always keep it. You know, no wonder your bank is called Real Bank for the Real People. Because in conversations, you just keep it real. You don't, there's no pretense.
Yeah,
there's no putting up anything. It's what you see is what you get.
Exactly.
And that's a great lesson I've learned from you. And it has helped me a lot.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Show some love, man.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, stick around, man.